Jason Robertson update?
Week to week.
How does that affect you guys? Obviously, he's leading goal scorer. I mean, it's a big loss, it seems like.
Yeah, I think next man up. I mean, it's this time of year. We're not going to be the only team either starting without somebody or losing someone at some point. So that's playoffs. You just you got to keep moving forward.
How do you feel like your forward core is able to absorb a loss like that compared to maybe last year?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think we have, Robo, sticks the puck in the net for us or creates offense for us. I think we have more depth. We have more creativity in our depth than maybe last year. Last year we probably had more, heaviness, specialty, face-offs, PK. I'm thinking of faxes and guys like that. This year I think we have more scoring depth. You've got that Dadonoff with 20 goals, who's been third, fourth line. So, there's no good injuries to right guys, but we probably, if you're talking about an injury to a key player, we're probably better able to absorb that in that position than probably some others.
How did you view that play, that hit over?
I thought it was a hockey play. He's a physical guy. He's going to get a piece of you as you move the puck. They just happen to be going opposite directions. I didn't think he had an intent to injure him.
What have you seen from Rantanen? And obviously it's going to be a mental challenge.
Yeah.
To face his own team.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be excited about this. I think, it's playoffs. I think, the old team thing, yes, that's still there. We've already gone through those hoops, so he's played against them already. He's been back there already, so that stuff's in the rearview mirror. This is now, puck drops and compete.
And then what has he done in the playoffs? His numbers are just
Yeah.
through the roof.
Yeah, his numbers are fantastic, and that's what we got him for. I think his game's built for the playoffs. He's a big body. He hangs on to pucks. He's hard to play against. He goes to the dirty areas. So we're going to need all those things.
Obviously, you played against him many times, but what have you learned about him, having him as your player?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. He's a pro. He's a pro's pro. Nobody prepares more. His pre-practice, pre-game routine, post-practice, post-game routine. He puts a lot of time into preparing for the game, which is fantastic for our guys to see and our young guys to see. It reminds me of a Joe Pavelski and how much time he puts into making sure he's ready to play, and so that's a great attribute to have and for our young players to see at the rink, for their careers going forward, and then on the ice. He's a team guy. He wants to win, and he doesn't cheat the game. He works away from the puck. You can see why he's won a Stanley Cup. You can't win if you don't have those characteristics, and there's a reason he's won.
It's an odd thing, but does Tyler do a lot of the same things, and bringing him back in the locker
Yeah.
room, does that have a similar impact?
Yeah, Tyler's. I've said this before. He's turned into a real leadership guy for us. With Pavelski moving on, I think. We needed that void filled, and I think not having Tyler in the dressing room most of the year because of the injury, we felt that. I mean, Jamie Benn does a lot of heavy lifting in there for us, and we've got a great secondary group of leaders, but, Tyler's, probably the most vocal guy out of that group.
Dr. Robertson, week to week, is there any hope that he plays in this series, or are you kind of already thinking ahead of that?
If the series goes more than a week, then yeah.
Matthew Shane and Tyler Sagan talked a little bit about the Game 1 issues that you guys have had, so that was addressed today. How
Yeah.
do you diagnose what's happened in Game
Yeah.
1 and what needs to be different tomorrow?
Yeah, I don't know if you drag those things around. Every year's different. Every group's different. We're gonna say we're gonna, because we had a slow end to the season, or we're going to say, we've had we're a team that ends slowly going into the playoffs. Last year we ended quickly going into the playoffs. I know there's some there's a real history there of starting slowly, and we've lived that. But I don't think we can hang that on this group. I think this group is a new group, new people, new year. They've got to write their own chapter, and I don't see that as an issue. But we'll see. And maybe we're talking about this in 2 days again. You might be right.
Last year, you guys were relatively healthy throughout the season. This year, you haven't been as much. You've had some big losses.
Yeah.
Is this just another layer to the learning how to win
Yeah.
it all?
Yeah, and I think the message to our team is who are we? Are we the team that kind of limped into the playoffs the last 7-8 games, or are we the team for 75 games that faced adversity to with injuries to key guys for long stretches and found a way to grind out wins and have the record we have? And I know the answer, but we've got to show the hockey world which team we are.
I saw Petrovic skating official today. What
Yeah.
do you like about that combo? What can they bring?
Well, first, size, physicality. They're both big, long guys. They both have underrated puck skills for me, which for big guys, which is important. You're playing a fast team, so being able to move pucks past that pressure, move pucks under pressure is really important.
Their goaltender doesn't have the same experience as yours does in the playoffs. How will the past couple of years serve Jake well, and how important will it be to
Yeah.
capitalize on that?
Yeah, Jake's a key guy for us this series, obviously. I think, anytime you're down some guys at some key positions, and we have the luxury. We've got an elite goalie. We've got, an elite defenseman. We've got some elite forwards. And when you're down in one of those or two of those positions, some of the other world-class guys you have to step up. So, and that's not just Jake, but there's no doubt, Jake's going to have to be really good for us this series.
You talked about how you learn to be patient through your career,
Yeah.
not overreact to things and ride the wave of the motion. This group's also done it. How do you then flip that and balance that when it's the playoffs and we only have to lose 4 games to be
Yeah. Well, I think it's even more important because emotions are heightened and every play is more important, and everyone's living and dying, with everything that goes on that night, and that the end of the season is literally potentially 2 weeks away or less. I think it's even more important to keep that even keel.
Sorry, go ahead.
Season is a long one.
Yeah, it sure
Playoffs-
is.
Playoffs, resets.
Yeah.
Is there a renewed sense of excitement or maybe energy,
Yeah.
knowing that these games mean so much now?
Oh, for sure. And I don't think there's any doubt. The last 2.5 weeks, we've been looking forward to this, and I think that was reflected in our play for a lot of it. So, this is what you play for. The opportunity to be one of these 16 teams. That's 16 teams, 350 guys sitting at home, or on vacation that would love to have this opportunity.
Saw Miro and Nils skating before. Is Miro
Yeah.
close to being
Miro's status quo. He hasn't. The next step would be that, but he's not there yet.
And then is Nils is still a season-ending situation, or is that something?
Nils. We called it. It's definitely season ending because the season's over. Is it year ending? I don't know. That's a good question. He's not anywhere close, but I think if we played long enough, that might be a conversation that comes back into play. But that's nothing in the near future.
You guys have tried some different things with your power play in recent games.
Yeah.
I've seen Essa working on it a
Yeah.
little bit today. What do you like about his ability to come in and run
Yeah.
the second unit?
You know what, he's done it before. He's a veteran guy. He's not overwhelmed. If Essa's doing it, he's probably cleaning up 30 seconds, after Harley plays a minute and a half for us in that situation. So he's more than capable of doing that. He has underrated puck skills and offensive skills, and usually in that situation, it's going to be, like I said, the last 30 seconds. You're at the end of a power play. And, McKinnon's probably coming on the ice right after that. So, it gives you the benefit of having him out there at that point.